Hi, Michelle.
Hello.
So I was wondering, what if you could teach me about anything right now or ramble to me about anything that you adore or feel passionate about at the moment, what would it be and what lights up your heart?
I would say it goes back to cooking, like cooking, baking, anything that you can finish the job and end up cooking it. I mean, you can end up eating it. That would be something that I'm passionate about that I could ramble hours for hours just talking about it. Because I love to eat, and I feel like when you eat good food, you feel good about yourself. So, if I were to like take you into this whole idea of cooking from my headspace, it's
Mhm.
like we'll start from something that's like savory to the end of the meal, which is something that's sweet.
Mhm.
And I feel like the world of like cuisine is so wide. I don't think any culinary school is able to like cover everything. And I feel like if I had to show you like at least how I grew up with food is like you would find food that's better to eat with your hands to the point where it's better to eat it with like a skewer. It like
Mhm.
enhances the taste for some reason. So I think cooking and baking would be the two most passionate activity that I love besides the main job that I have to do, which is designing.
Yeah. So that actually brings me to like a question where I was gonna say, if you love cooking so much, why choose design? Like, is there something that relates to it to you, or is it what is that? What's that about?
I feel like if I had to relate it to design, food makes you happy because you're consuming it and you feel good about your body. And I guess for design, I'm giving food through your eyes. So it's like whatever you see, whatever you end up understanding, that's like a metaphor of like how food is digested in your body.
Oh, that's so interesting. So, like, how often would you say that you cook?
I would cook due to the uncertain situations we have. I would do it daily. I would meal prep, but it's always like I've always tried to set up a theme every single week if I have to cook so that it doesn't feel like a burden. It does feel like a side project that I'm doing.
Oh, fun. Okay, so you think of it as more of like a hobby type of thing.
Yes.
That's so fun. Well, when you do cook, what do you normally cook? Like, or do you have some favorite things that you cook?
I I love to cook very like traditional Indonesian food. So it's either the fried chicken that we have, or if I'm
Mm,
going really like long slow cooked cuisine, it would probably be like a curry beef stew that we have. But if I had to go a little bit extra, sometimes I would fusion the food. So I would do Korean and Indonesian food at the same time because we could mix between like how sour Korean foods are and how like sweet and savory most Indonesian foods are.
oh, that's so cool. So like how long have you been doing cooking and like how long have you cared about it? Because it seems like you know a lot about it. So,
That's interesting. So I started cooking more like professionally and like more serious was during COVID. So after I moved to the US to start my whole journey studying abroad, I started to be serious about it during like COVID era, which is like 2020 to 2022, because that was the only thing that could let me go out of the house, buy stuff, do things, and actually talk to
mm,
people to ask stuff.
oh, that's so interesting. So it kind of became like an unexpected thing out of COVID. You found something you loved.
Yeah.
That's
Ooh.
so cool. Well, over the time you've been cooking, would you say that there's like a favorite dish or anything that you've ever made, or do you have like one that you're just super proud of that you remember?
Wow, that would be interesting. I'm actually proud of mo most of the dishes that I made, but if I had to pick, it would probably be the beef curry dish one because it does take up more than a day to cook.
Hmm.
So that particular dish, if you cook it more than a day, it gets more richer in taste. Although like all the seasoning, like all the spices that we use are so simple, it's just the method of cooking. that
So is
is,
it cooked?
yeah.
How is it cooked?
It's cooked by, so you have to saute a little bit of the spices to get the aromas out, and then you put the meat in, you put the water and coconut milk in it, and then you have to let it slow cook so then the meat, by the end of the whole cooking time, it like separates so easily, even without pressure.
That's so interesting. Like, do you cook a lot of like foods from like I'm assuming you cook a lot of Indonesian foods and things like that. Is that like do you I okay, this is like a kind of off question, but I was wondering if it's is it ever hard for you to find like certain ingredients that you really want for a certain
Oh,
dish that you've been craving from like
yeah.
Indonesia or something?
I think in like Asian food that all the Asian foods that I try to cook, there's always this one ingredient that I remember. It's called galangal. So it's like ginger's cousin, but it's so hard to find. But when you find it, it's so big. So you have to
Mhm.
cut it by piece and save it. But that would be the only thing because it's grown in like a very acidic soil, and I don't think they could grow here in the US. So they
Mm,
have to ship it from like other countries that could potentially like cultivate this particular spice. So that
yeah.
would be the only time that it's hard to find. But I think other than that, they started to find localized spices that I thought would be hard to find, but they already have it here as well.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So, would you say that you have like a favorite memory or anything with cooking? Is there anything that like
Oh, yeah. Oh, wow. You just opened another memory like behind my head. I think the only thing that I feel like is always a comfort zone for me with cooking or baking is like every Christmas or every birthday, it's the only part of the event that no one ever touches. It's going to happen when it does. It's like everyone is locking in. Like we have three people working on making a cake. We have two people like cooking. And even just like entertainment, we had like two people that would turn on music and make sure everyone's doing their thing or checking if the stove is on. Because we had like an incident, I guess it was a family event. Someone forgot to turn off the stove, so it got a little bit dry. And I
Mm,
guess because a lot of my family's backgrounds are cooks, so they start to like, okay, they start to problem solve. If this is too dry, how are we gonna fix it? And I guess that like culture of just having like big cookouts and then taking cooking really seriously to the point where they don't enjoy buying foods outside. They would rather cook it for hours is something
mm,
that like I respect throughout the years. Like even now, just cooking it for myself.
yeah. So a lot of your family cooks. I didn't know that. So like is it a big thing throughout your childhood you were just around lots of good food and like it made you want to do it during COVID or something?
I think it was one of that. It's also because like when you cook and when you talk to people about it, or just like during the whole cooking process and you video call people, it's something that people won't complain if you take 3 hours because at the end of it, you're gonna get something that you both can enjoy. It or you the only person that can enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, I think during COVID, the only effect that I noticed was like affecting everyone is because I was living in a house shared environment and I was baking cookies, which I know needed a lot of butter, and the
Mm-hmm.
whole entire house smelled like it's not gingerbread cookies, but if you make like a regular vanilla cookie, it wasn't that. It was like I was putting like pineapple jam in it, which I added like more spices to it, which wasn't overpowering, but it smelled really nice throughout the house and all the roommates were happy because I ended up giving them like one Tupperware of like all the cookies. And the only thing that they say when I left was like, I miss like the smell of like someone baking cookies because it reminds them of their house. And like, oh, interesting, because I didn't think of that.
No, yeah, that's so interesting. Yeah. So like you bake too, not just cooking. Do you prefer baking or cooking, would you say?
I would say it depends on my cravings, but by percentage, I think I would be bigger at baking than I would with cooking. So
Why? Just
I
based off percentage?
I think I am using percentage because It's also depending on the recipes that I made. I feel like with baking, you can really add savory to it and it wouldn't taste weird. But then with cooking, you can't really add a lot of sweetness because it's like the main meal people eat.
Right, that's true. Okay, that's interesting. Um, so how would you say that like since you've started cooking, how has cooking changed your life or has it how has it formed your personality or shaped you as a person?
I really feel like how that helped me out, especially like because it was happening during my transitioning years of transferring schools. I
Mhm.
would say the biggest lesson of it was like trusting the process.
Mhm.
Like for some of the dishes that I tried to make, it took too long for me to believe that it's gonna end up good, and
Mhm.
I kind of lost interest on making it, although I was already halfway. And by the end of that whole process, I noticed like it tasted good at the end, which kind of reminded me that I have to trust the process within like everything that I'm trying to make with cooking.
Mhm.
And I think shaping the way I am through food is also like how am I going to impress someone or how do I leave a memory through something that people taste
Mhm.
and they feel the whole day after they enjoy it? I guess that kind of helped me think like as a person, wherever I will be working on or whatever the things I'll do, like how do I leave a good impression and that good feeling to someone without making them hesitate to reach out to me again, I guess.
So it's
And
kind of like that social aspect of
yeah,
cooking too. Yeah, that's so cool. So like, is there like when you say that about kind of the social aspect of cooking, is there anything you can think of in particular that like just like cooking certain things for certain people or like is there anything you do frequently like how do I put it? Is there anything that you do frequently for other people with cooking just because you want them to smile?
sometimes I would always give people the option. So with all of the food that I've cooked before or all the bakery goods that I've done, I always give them a lot of options to like how they could eat it, how they could mix it, because I feel like it's a freedom to cook it, but it's also a freedom to how you eat it. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of people have rules on how you can eat it, but I mean, at the end of the day, you're just eating what you're seeing. So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like what I do is I would, for like the things that I cook, I would add it on the side and let them mix however they like because the taste is going to be different for everyone. And I feel like what I do is specifically with cooking, I would always separate like the spicy part of the food, like the chili sauce and everything else, so that you can experience how hot you want the food to be or how unhot you want the food to be. But I guess with baking that I've tried so far is it's also how much sweetness people like to indulge. Like
Mm-hmm.
they would love to have the sweetness right in the cake, but some people like it on top, like either through like whipping cream or chocolate ganache. So I guess that's how like either it's as a topping or something that you can tell me beforehand. I guess that's what I always do.
That's interesting. Okay, I have a little bit of a bonus question real quick. I was wondering if there's anything with cooking that you feel relates to design, because I know that you and I are both graphic designers,
Yay.
and I'm just curious.
I feel like with both sides of the world, in terms of like design and cooking, I feel like the one silver line that I can like take from both sides is that you're never gonna work with the same ingredient ever. You're
Mm,
gonna be working with the same pan. I would say an analogy is like you're gonna be working with the same pan, knife, cutting board, whatever you're putting down on those things and whatever you're cooking out of that is gonna be different every single time, even if you use the same recipe. So I guess that relates to like how I design. It's like I'm gonna be using the same computers, the same methodologies, the same look and feel, but everything that I'll be dealing with topic wise maybe or clients, those are gonna be it's gonna grow to be a different result. So I guess like I'm treating both sides similarly, where I have to trust the process. I will be working with different ingredients even within the same recipe, but I'll have a different output every single time. But it's gonna taste good, or for design, it's gonna look good.
Right. Oh my God, that's so interesting. I love that. Um, so something else I wanted to ask was if there's anybody who's listening to this
Mhm.
that wants to feel even like the littlest bit of the amount of passion that you feel for cooking, how, where would you say that they should start?
I think if they want to start, I'll say in like both sides. Like for cooking, let's just try from like the most simplest thing. Like for cooking, I would say try the most basic thing that you've never tried. Let's say you've never made an omelet. Like we have so many types of omelet around the world. Pick the one that you really like and try to make that. And whatever it comes out, if it comes out great, then good. If it doesn't come out great, you can think how can you make it good with your version. Like you can set your standards.
Mm,
Yes, with design, you can try to make something you want, but if it doesn't reach to that point, try to negotiate with yourself. How can you make it good through your eyes, but maybe it feels a little bit different from your goal because you can't be exactly the same as the end goal that you want. You're
hmm.
gonna probably improve it to something else. So it's like don't expect the output too soon. Expect the whole process to come by you sooner than it is for the expectations to come. If
That's such a beautiful way of putting it. I love that.
it's just like wait, I'm thinking of it. But yeah, it's similar to cooking, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the last question that I have for you is there anything else you want to add? Is there anything you want to say and tell people about cooking before we end this?
I guess if I had to add is that don't put pressure on the things you do. Because just like cooking, the minute you adjust things too hot, everything turns really bad. Like it's not edible. Same in
Mhm.
life, you don't want to put too much pressure on anything because it won't turn out the way you like, or it's just going to be a waste of time. So trust the process, adjust the pressure with your feeling. Trust your guts and let it cook to perfection with your vision.
Oh my God.
Yay!
Great. Well, thank you so much for sharing this with me. I loved hearing about it. Hopefully we get to talk more about it again soon.